He said I didn't have what it takes, that I'd never lead, so I quit, built my own company, and now he works under me. Ethan Cole was the kind of employee every company said they wanted. Sharp, reliable, and hungry to prove himself. At 24, he joined Titan Dynamics, a fast-growing tech consulting firm, believing that hard work would speak for itself. In the beginning, it did. Ethan stayed late, met deadlines, and fixed problems others couldn't. His boss, Richard Collins, often complimented him in front of the team, but always with a backhanded tone. "Good work, Ethan. You've got potential," Richard would say, pausing just long enough before adding, "But you're not ready for leadership yet." The word stung. Every time Ethan reached higher, Richard pushed him back down, not with open criticism, but with polite discouragement that left no room for argument. Ethan told himself to be patient. Promotions took time. Recognition would come. Then came the day of the annual review. Ethan had just completed one of the company's biggest projects, managing a difficult client, solving technical issues no one else could. He entered the conference room with quiet confidence, expecting good news. Richard smiled across the table. "Ethan, you've done great work this year," he began. "But leadership requires experience. You're still a bit too green. We're giving the senior position to Daniel." Daniel, the guy Ethan had trained 6 months earlier. Ethan's chest tightened. He forced a polite smile, shook hands, and walked out. But deep inside, something changed. The disappointment didn't crush him. It lit a fire. That night, staring at his laptop screen, Ethan opened a new document and typed 3 words at the top. "My exit plan." Within a week, Ethan handed in his resignation. He didn't rant or argue, just quietly thanked Richard for the opportunity and walked out. Richard smirked, leaned back in his chair and said, "Guess you realized you're not ready after all." Ethan smiled back. "Maybe not, but I will be." Outside the building, he took a deep breath. The air felt lighter. Free. For the first few weeks, Ethan didn't rush into another job. Instead, he studied leadership, business strategy, communication. He read books, took online courses, and learned how companies really worked, not just from behind a desk, but from the top. Then, at a networking event, fate intervened. He met Olivia Grant, a former Titan executive who had left the company after being overlooked for promotion herself. She was sharp, experienced, and tired of watching good people get buried under bad management. Over coffee, they shared their frustrations and ideas. By the end of the meeting, an idea took shape. What if we built a consulting firm that helped companies grow without toxic leadership? That's how Nova Rise Strategies was born, from a mix of ambition, resentment, and vision. Ethan invested his savings, Olivia brought her contacts, and together they worked out of a tiny co-working space. Long nights, endless coffee, and no guarantees. But every small victory, every client, every email, every yes, felt like redemption. 1 year later, Novarise had a team of 6 and a reputation for transforming underperforming companies. Ironically, most of their new clients came from firms that had once worked with Titan Dynamics. Ethan didn't chase revenge. He just kept building, knowing one day, success would take him right back to the place where it all started. 2 years later, an email arrived in Ethan's inbox that made him freeze. Subject: request for proposal. Leadership Development Program. From Titan Dynamics. He read it twice. Titan Dynamics, Richard's company. They wanted Novarise Strategies to train their management team. Ethan smiled, leaned back in his chair and whispered, "You couldn't write this better if it were a movie." Olivia, now his business partner and co-director, looked over his shoulder. "You really want to do this?" she asked. "Absolutely," Ethan said. "Let's show them what not ready looks like now." A week later, Novarise submitted its proposal. It was professional, concise, and undeniably powerful. Numbers spoke louder than ego. Their results proved it. When the contract was confirmed, Ethan didn't celebrate. He just nodded quietly. The universe had already done the talking. The morning Ethan walked back into Titan's office, it was like stepping into a memory that had shrunk. The same glass walls, the same gray carpet. But now, he wasn't an employee. He was the consultant. The receptionist, not recognizing him, greeted him with a polite smile. "Good morning, sir. Are you here for the leadership seminar?" Ethan smiled back. "I'm here to run it." Inside the conference room, faces from his past stared in mild shock. Some smiled awkwardly. And then, through the door, came Richard Collins. Time had softened his confidence and his hairline. He looked surprised, then uneasy. "Ethan?" Richard said slowly. "You're the trainer?" "I am," Ethan replied calmly. "Novarise Strategies will be leading your new leadership initiative." The silence that followed was thick. For once, Richard had nothing to say. During the session, Ethan spoke with quiet authority about communication, respect, and how real leaders build people up instead of holding them down. Every word landed heavier than it sounded. At the end of the day, Richard approached him, eyes lowered. "You've done well for yourself," he admitted. Ethan nodded. "I just needed time to get ready." Weeks later, Titan Dynamics officially partnered with Novarise for a year-long program. But the real twist came soon after. Richard was demoted from head of operations and reassigned under the training department. His new supervisor? Ethan Cole. When the transfer email went out, Ethan didn't laugh. He just closed his laptop and smiled. "He said I wasn't ready," he murmured. "Now he works under me." And for the first time in years, Ethan didn't feel angry anymore. Just complete. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving someone wrong. It's proving yourself right. Ethan didn't destroy his boss. He outgrew him. And that's the difference between staying bitter and becoming better. They doubted. You delivered. That's what we call proof. You're watching Revenge Proves. Subscribe for more real-life power stories.